Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are heading out to my parents' house to work on 6 window baskets. We're gonna deck them out with greens and pine cones and whatever magnolia and seeded eucalyptus I have left over, which I think I've got quite a lot. Plenty to do 6 window baskets. They're not enormous. They are the 3 on the north side of their house, which we actually planted up for summer, and they were beautiful. They had coleus, a lime thyme, and wicked witch, and then they had some impatiens, the tropical shades, a nonstop white begonia, and then some wire vine. I think the wire vine's still in there, so we're just going to add to that. We are going to have to thaw the soil out a little bit with just kind of like mildly warm water. I don't think it's going to hurt the plant at all. And then there are the 3 window baskets on their potting shed, and I think they're about all the same size. I think they're the 2-footers, if I remember right. Maybe they're 30 inches, I can't remember. But they're not huge, but the potting shed is such a cute, quaint little structure out there. And I thought we would do them slightly different. I'm gonna do something similar to what I did in our winter containers with the yellow twig on the north side of their house, because I think the yellow will really pop against their house. It's kind of a darker gray. And then if we can do some red branches with the potting shed, because that's a little bit more of a light color. It's not light, but it's light enough so that the red, I think, will show. I think it'd be fun to do them 2 different ways. Now, my parents are at work today, but they do know I'm gonna go out and get those done. So I'm just hoping that they're greeted by something pretty when they get home. And I just came out here real quick to check on the fish in the pond, as I normally do every morning. And I was just noticing for the first time, it looks like a bit of ice right here. Yep, look at that. Amazing. These are forget-me-not plants. They're just still looking awesome. Okay, I'm gonna make my way down to look at the fish. Now, last year we got down to -6 for 2 days, so it didn't sustain that, but it never froze all the way over. And you know, at that point, we only had this part of the pond. This part didn't exist yet. So when it gets super duper cold, like we haven't been below like the high, like 19, maybe 19 or 20. When it gets down closer to 0, we'll probably pop a stock tank heater in here just to keep enough of the, if it does ice over. There's a lot of water movement though, so it'll take some pretty cold, sustained cold days to actually have that happen. But we kind of like just the assurance of knowing that part of the pond water will stay thawed out, so that oxygen exchange can still go on and the fish will be fine, or fish will be safe that way. And they're just kind of chilling. I counted them. Oh, there's a couple. Oh, moving fast. They don't even come up here to greet us for food at this point. They kind of just hover at the bottom. I still come out here. I can see 3 tails sticking out of the fish cave. But I still come out here and count them. I counted all 13 koi and 1 shark yesterday. So still do roll call. I miss them coming right up to the surface of the water for their treats though in the summertime. We just, once it gets cold enough, we don't feed them through the winter. Because that would not be good for them. All right, guys, so I'm gonna run into the root cellar. We're gonna grab all of our miscellaneous foliage, and I've got a box full of pine cones that I thought I would maybe work into these displays as well. We'll bring those. Oh yeah, look at how much seeded yucca I've left. That'll be awesome. Plenty of magnolia as well. I'm gonna put it all in one box. Come back in for that later. Okay, pine cones are up there. Look at those. Oh, perfect. There's 3 big ones. A bunch of little ones. What's in here? Oh, more sugar pine cones. Oh, yeah. These were sent out by Marion, who has 3 sugar pine cone sugar pines in her yard. And so she sent out a box of these beautiful cones. Those are huge. I kind of want to keep these here. I think they might be a little bit too big for those window baskets. They have some evergreens too out there that I can go forage for cones if these don't happen to work out. They've also got, my mom was saying that she's got some crabapple branches that are really pretty. So anyway, between our stuff here and theirs out there, I think we'll be good. Okay, I'm in the back 40 here, just to see if there's any rose hips that are still looking really nice. They're all covered in frost, of course. There's a few. I see more leaves than I do hips, so I wonder if they've become forage already for wildlife. There's a few in here. Yeah, I think we'll just go grab some Arctic Fire dogwood branches and keep it at that, and then we'll check out the crab apples out at my parents' house. So gorgeous out here. Like, even weeds and stuff look gorgeous right now. We actually have a system coming in tonight. We're expecting snow, and there's dense fog advisories and all of that business. Okay, so here are the Arctic Fires. You can't really see the color very well because, well, they're covered in frost, but they are so pretty. So we're just going to cut some stems. We're not going to need a ton because these are going to just be going in 3 of the window baskets. And then I'll pop over and get more of the yellow. Just arrived and CS is our greeting committee. Hi CS. Hi kitty kitty. Oh, you need some loves. Oh yeah. Oh, it looks beautiful out here too. And right here, you guys, are the window boxes we're going to be filling up. So there are 2 right here and then 1 on the other side of the chimney. You can see the wire vine. And I might trim this up just a little bit. And wire vine is one of those things that sometimes it does okay over the winter and sometimes it doesn't. I know Mom said she was not concerned on whether or not this got cut out completely or whatever. She's like, do whatever you want. So I might trim that up a bit so it's to scale with everything else, but we'll just have to kind of get into the project to see. Let me show you the view into town real quick because it's foggy and it is slick. Whew. Oh, you can't even see into town anymore. Hold on, I gotta go to a different spot. When we moved into this house in 1990, you could see from all angles, the whole like panoramic view of the valley. And now the gardens are so mature and thick that there's just little windows where you can see the valley. Not that you can see it today anyway. Also, we tried very hard not to walk on the grass, but it looks like maybe somebody's walked through, so I'm gonna tiptoe. That's actually a rule at our house too. You only go on the grass, especially if you're in a gator, if it is 100% necessary. Otherwise, you tiptoe through because that's when you start getting damage. Not if you walk through it once, but if you continually drive through the same spot or walk on the same spot, it can really make it hard for it to come back the next spring. There you go. There's a view of the valley. Can't even see the highway from here. But here, mangaves and the lemon coral sedums still look beautiful. Beautiful winter interest. We just did not get to these in time to get them brought in. But boy, they're gorgeous out here right now. Let's go take a quick look at the potting shed. And then what I'm going to do is unload everything and then get some hot water in the house and just, whoop, oh, slipped and fell. And then just get to work. I forgot that our Winter Wonderland parade downtown is happening today at 1, and I've got 2 hours. So if I don't make the first part of it, it's not a big deal, but I kind of want to be there with the kids. Okay. Oh, I'll take the pathway here. Isn't this the sweetest shed? Oh, Mom's already got wreaths on here on the windows with some red ribbon. But there is some ivy and some hellebores. This soil is actually workable. Yay! That means these are going to be easy. And there's 2 on this side right here. Oh, again, workable. A little bit of frozen. Yeah, for the most part, I think we're going to be good. Look at those green giant arborvitaes right there. So pretty. We've all been just commenting on this frost, this thick frost, and how wonderful it is because it gives you the beauty of the winter landscape, but not the hassle of shoveling snow. And not that that's going to stay because, you know, tonight we're supposed to get snow, but boy, it's been nice. This whole week has looked like this. Okay, guys, so now it's just a matter of unloading and getting it done. So let's do it. Okay, I've got everything we need for these 3 window baskets. We've got our pine cones, the yellow twig dogwood, the seeded eucalyptus, the magnolia. We've got some noble fir tips, some incense cedar, and some princess pine. And our warm water. Basically, these window baskets are gonna have everything but the kitchen sink. A little bit of everything, all the elements. I think they're gonna be really pretty. Okay, wanted to take a quick break and show you that the first one is done. And I think it turned out really pretty. I did not end up trimming out the wire vine. I think it looks extra pretty to have that. So I went in with the yellow twig dogwoods first, and then the incense cedar is kind of our spiller layer. Then our noble fir, then I went in with magnolia, popped like 4 little princess pine stems kind of in the fir area. And then went in with some seeded eucalyptus and the pine cones. And the only thing that's not really secured to the soil would be the pine cones, but they kind of catch on the plants, you know, if that makes sense. And it would take a pretty stiff breeze to knock them down. But even then, I don't think it's a huge deal. You could wire a stick to the bottom of the pine cone and punch it down in the soil to give yourself some extra stability, but I think we'll be all right. I think that's a really pretty blend of plants right there. Oh. Okay, let's keep going. And of course, the next 2 are gonna look just like this one. All right, we are halfway done. We got these 3 filled up. The third one on the other side of the chimney is probably not 100% necessary to do, but it just doesn't feel complete unless you do it. And since we had all the supplies out anyway, just went for it. I think they just turned out so nice. And right there. That way, if you're inside looking out, you'll see the same thing out both windows, because this window here and this window here are in the same room. And even though the wire vine isn't prime, it actually looks the best in the most visible one, which is great. It doesn't work that way every single time, but I love it. I think it is so pretty. It adds that kind of touch that's needed, I think, on this wall. It just softens it a little bit. Okay, I just refilled our blue watering can full of warm water, and we're gonna head out to the potting shed next. Can't forget my tea. Just standing here thinking, the truck is here with all of our supplies. The potting shed is all the way over there. So I think I'm gonna back the truck up to the gate right in front of the potting shed. That way I don't have to traipse across the deck with all of my kind of messy supplies. Yep, let's do that. Also, it only took us, I think it's just under an hour to do those 3. So pretty good. It takes forever to fill the watering can, so that's part of the time too. Gotta load these back up. Ooh, that's the heaviest one. Mercy. Those must be dense. Whoa. Oh, there's Christmas lights. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're gonna start in with our red twigs, and I'm gonna put those in all 3 and kind of do this assembly line style. And then we'll pop in some of the evergreen stuff, and then we will head out and look for some crab apples or some kind of a red berry. Not quite done, but I was able to keep these much more simple in terms of how many supplies I used. I only put in the red twig and the fir at this point. Here's a look at these. Just because, you know, we've got the trailing ivy, we've got the bold texture of the hellebore in there, so I don't really want to use magnolia or anything that has any yellow, like our eucalyptus or a cedar, because of the yellow in the ivy. I think that's really pretty, so we just need to go look for some berries now. Okay, so there are 2 crabapple trees in 2 terraced beds right down in here, and I'm thinking they may be perfect for what we're looking for. So let's head down there carefully. These rocks are so slick. Whew. Yeah, look at this. There's some beautiful crab apples here. Beautiful viburnum too, but I don't know how these would hold. Maybe they'd hold great, but I don't think I really want orange. I think I'm going more for, well, these are kind of orangey too, but they're a bit more on the red side. So let's just grab just a small handful of branches. It doesn't take much. Be all wet by the end of this project. Oh, I just got snowed on. I cut 6 branches per window box, just small ones. You can't even tell they're missing. Those crab apples are really thick. And then we'll just take these and pop them in like that for just a little touch of red-ish orange. Here they are all done. So just a few crab apples in there. I mean, you could cut way more, but I kind of like the simple charm of these window boxes. You know, the ones that we just did up closer to the house are so packed full of things. And this one essentially is. I mean, with all the hellebore, ivy, crabapple, red twig dogwoods, and the fir, that's a lot of elements in there. And so they look very full and lush, but there's still a simplicity about them, which I think looks really sweet with this structure. And here's the front one. I kind of wanted to trim that hellebore back a little bit, but honestly, I think that having a little bit of a spill is good too on this one, just like with the wire vine. And you may have noticed that I did use the water out here too, and I didn't use super, super hot water. It was just like lukewarm water, because anything that temperature will thaw out the soil, and the soil is only frozen about this thick. It's not frozen all the way down to the bottom because it hasn't been that cold yet. But even with the ones that I was able to easily stick the stuff in, I watered it anyway because I want them to freeze and hold all of that stuff into the window box. So that is why I did that. And I got thoroughly frosted on. When I was cutting those crab apples, I'd cut a branch and then a bunch of frost would come down right on top of my head. So I'm like feeling little bits melting just a little bit at a time, and then it runs down my scalp. It's a very weird feeling. I don't like it. And you guys, that is it for today's project. So fun to be out doing some window boxes. We don't have any window boxes. No, I take that back. We have one window box in front of the chicken coop. I haven't put anything in that, and I may not. But it was fun to do something a little bit different, and we've just done 3 holiday containers at our house. I didn't plan on doing a ton. In fact, I completely forgot to even order bulk greens. That's why I was happy to buy those couple of Christmas trees and use them for multiple different projects, like the mantle and the outside projects. So I didn't have to buy any extra greens. I was able to use just those Christmas trees. But the greens that I brought out here, I actually stopped by the garden center and picked up a little bit of the pine and the cedar and the fir to bring out here because I didn't have quite enough to do all 6. But anyway, we finished in time for me to make the parade. So if I leave now, I can meet Aaron and the kids. If we go toward the end of where the parade travels through, we'll be able to see the whole thing. So anyway, today's worked out great. Thank you guys so much for watching today's project, and we will see you in the next one.